I've discussed this fight elsewhere, so I'm going to do this as a sort of brief prediction, final thoughts video. James Degale, Lucien Bute. It's a fight that's gone under the radar to a certain extent because of the hype surrounding Fury Klitschko, which is understandable. For me, this is an easy win for James Degale. Lucien Bute, to me, there's some question about how good Lucien Bute ever was. You know, his level of opposition before fighting Carl Froch was questionable given the amount of hype surrounding him. And, you know, since then we've seen him lose fairly handily, in my opinion, to John Pascal. For me, the biggest factor, however, with Lucien Bute in this fight is the weight. You know, Lucien Bute was someone who always struggled to make £168. I think that was one of the main reasons given for his loss to Carl Froch. And he then moved up to £175. You know, we saw him soundly beaten at 175. Now all of a sudden, he's fine making 168. Now let me tell you, when you're in the autumn of your career, which Lucien Bute is, you know, he's an older guy, and once you've been big at a weight and then moved up to the weight class above, it is going to be doubly hard to get down to £168, you know. If your body's suddenly become used to making 175, to take off that extra half a stone when you're older and when you're big at the weight to begin with, is going to be really, really difficult. I see that as a major factor in this fight, I really do. And I think that James Degale can take advantage of that and can knock Lucien Bute out. You know, James Degale's hitting harder these days. We know he's had his injury he's recovered from. And ever since that's happened, he has been hitting harder. You know, we've been seeing opponents hit the ground. We've been seeing him, you know, stop people. Even dropped Andre Durrell pretty heavily last time out. You know, James Degale, I did note he himself was saying that he was having some slight weight concerns in a recent interview he did. He said he enjoyed eating too many slices of toast in the morning and that sort of thing. So it sounds like it hasn't been all fun and games for James Degale making the weight. But to me, if you look at James Degale, he's probably more of a natural 168-pounder than Lucien Bute. I often talk about momentum in boxing. James Degale's on a real upwards trajectory. I see him as probably the top 168-pounder in the world at present. He's just beaten Andre Durrell, a superb fighter. He's signed with Al Haymon. He's getting paid a huge amount of money for this fight. And this is his opportunity to make a big statement to the Americas, to Canada, to America, to Al Haymon. You know, this is going to get viewed by a lot of people. Lucien Bute is big time over there. And there's going to be huge financial incentive for James Degale to get this right. The momentum is all behind Chunky on this one. With Lucien Bute, he's had two bad losses in Froch and Pascal. He's in the autumn of his career, as I've already said. For me, the momentum is drifting away from Lucien Bute here, and I just fancy James Degale. I really do. I think he's going to have too much for Lucien Bute, and it really doesn't surprise me if James Degale gets him out of there early. You know, I would go for stoppage first half of this fight, James Degale. I think Degale's a class act. And I just think, whilst Bute at his best is a stylish fighter who looks good, I think the weight is such a big issue in that fight. Let me know your thoughts. How do you see it going? Many thanks for watching as always.